Greetings. Hey, it's Susie Q. I'm doing an overview that I did a video this morning. It's about the Akashic Records, automatic writing, to the reticular activating system, moving into Yoga Nidra, into Sankalpa. And so I'm going to go into a different story here with this because sometimes when we're like looking at some of these terms and words, right, is that we start noticing that we can give some examples. And so back in 2015, I had the opportunity to go with a friend in Mexico and stayed with a beautiful family, and it was my sister-in-law. And then we just started noticing that people were coming to me, or I think they saw something in me, but I didn't. I just thought I was like I was just like chilling out, you know. But people would come to me, and I don't speak Spanish, but we did do quite a few healing events at that time in Mexico. And one of them was in yoga. So I went ahead and did a yoga class with some folks, and then my sister-in-law kind of just just was the interpreter. I don't know. Anyway, so there's a lot of different examples that were happen in Mexico where people were, like I said, coming up next to me, wanting to know a little bit more about me. But I don't speak Spanish. I wish I did. But then eventually there was this experience that happened that was so unique and wonderful. So this one person had some high blood pressure, you know. So she just got back from a doctor's office, came in, had really high blood pressure, and so we knew it was, you know, she was like, oh God, this is so terrible. And so, and in that place, it was like a small place. There was a lot of people, a lot of food, lots of tequila. And then I just kind of acknowledged that we were just sitting at the table, and they said, do we need to, you know, be quiet? I said, no, yeah, you be quiet. Because it was like kids, and, you know, the TV's going, and, you know, things are cooking, and then, but I just kind of acknowledge, you know, just, we're going to just be where we're at. We don't need to enforce something for somebody else because they're doing what they're doing as well. So anyway, so we stayed at the kitchen table, and I did about a 12-minute meditation, and during that time, you could still kind of hear the TV, you could still kind of hear and smell things, and kind of relate. And then eventually, might have been about 12 or maybe 12 or 15 minutes that I did this meditation. And so I just continued to quietly talk to this person there at the kitchen table. And and then it was just a process of, and I don't even remember what I said, but we just did a little bit more clearing related to high blood pressure. And it was really kind of like a neat space, especially if you're in a healing event or healing experience. Everything goes quiet. It's kind of like maybe there's still stuff going on in the background, but you're not able to access that because you're more concentrated on the healing of the body. And so it was kind of interesting because once she came up out of it, and once my words stopped, so I never know how long I need to go into a train of thought through words, through, you know, the expression. I never know what it's going to be, but eventually it was over. And then we went ahead and got her to test it with her blood pressure, and it was 100% better, 100% better. And it might have been 12 to 15 minutes just by doing that. So these things are happening really beautifully. And even when we first started with that meditation regarding the higher blood pressure, um, you know, towards the end, there was no kids laughing. The TV was like on. The TV was not on, or there was no sound, and then the whole house was completely quiet and completely still, and that's exactly what happened at that experience in Mexico. And there was more synchronicities with all of that, and a lot more to unpack. But I really feel that if there's something that you're working with your body, and let's say that you're in some sort of a level of treatment or wanting to feel lighter or feel happier, sometimes if you could just go into a level of meditation, and let's just say you're not a meditator, maybe you don't know the words or what would be best for you, but you could be in an awakened state and be still and be quiet and just set an intention that may this heal me now, may this heal me now, or what else do I need to know? Is there anything else that I should do or be? But really, when you look at it, when you set an intention, it's like a sankalpa, is you set the intention that healing is underway now. Especially with the QHHT work that I do, we do about an hour. We keep the body scan going on for an hour during the subconscious mind, and we just keep hovering with it and see what we can do. Some people are able to accept some of these opportunities to let some things go, and other people are still not ready to let go. They're not ready to let go of their story, their experience, or their body events. They're not ready. But when they're ready, they'll know. And so all of these engagements with, just taking a moment or a pause just to go into a meditative state. And again, you could do it even during your sleep state. So maybe you've got some things going on in the body, but maybe you could work with the consciousness through your dream state or your sleeping state, and let that energy, with that body scan, let that be for all night long when you're sleeping. Just let the body scan just inform your divinity, your sovereign self, your God self, or your source self, or the cat down the street. You just start setting an intention that before we go to bed, we're going to start activating that body scan, and the body and the energies and the source of your knowing will be assisting with you to start letting yourself feel lighter, brighter, and more healed from whatever it is. We don't really, usually when we go into these sessions, we don't really talk about the organs or the systems or those things. We just kind of focus on, let's see if you have the capacity to have a better experience with your body. And it's up to you. It's up to you to choose. And the answer should be yes. The answer should be yes, right? But for most people, they say yes, but a lot of times they can't, they can hear it, but they can't reinforce it. So sometimes when things show up and it seemed like it was pretty easy, and then they walk away and it wasn't being reinforced. So all of these things are happening for us, especially with this meditative state, moving through the Sankalpa. And also when we're looking at that reticular activating system, is we want to go into a state of sympathetic nervous system. So that's that feeling of, and we want to have a better experience in our wakeful state. We want to have that wakeful state with that. We want more clarity, more focus, and we really want to see the world in the way that we would like it to be. We want to really be in the world, be that, and find what else would be helping you for your healing in your journey, or just kind of accessing your very best state of consciousness would be to just be, just simply be. Or you could say it's ineffable. And that reticular activating system is kind of like a stinker, you start kind of like getting into some sort of like a trigger thought, or something big happened, and they did me wrong or I did them wrong, but then you start noticing that I think everybody's where they're supposed to be. I think they're in the right place, the right time. But we really want to go back more into, drawing the inhalation in through the tip of the nose and seeing it below the belly button to activate the diaphragm. You hold it for a little bit, so I'm still holding it right now, and then we can go into the exhalation and allowing all of that exhalation coming out just above the belly button. So the more that you can do with that diaphragmatic breathing, especially if you're in a healing event. My sister-in-law had high blood pressure, and then in like 15 or maybe 12 or 15 minutes, it was clear, and the whole house was quiet. So these are really miraculous and easy hacks, for if something is happening that's chronic and it's kind of a stinker. I would say stinker. But we start noticing that we can do some things for our own self. We can really take a look at, what about a meditation? Maybe I could just lay down and be awake. I don't want to be asleep. I want to be consciously aware and awake, and I want to just breathe in and breathe out. And the more that you do it with the diaphragmatic energies, that's really, really powerful. It brings in that beautiful parasympathetic that tendency. So it's really a beautiful place to be. So when we're starting to work here, like with heavy breathing here, that's that sympathetic nervous system, and we want everything here to be more still, and then more activity below the belly button. So I think that's it for now. We'll see you soon, and namaste.